In New Moon, the presence of the Volturi, the law enforcers of the vampire world, and the other vampire nemesis were established now for Eclipse. Several cast members are reprising their roles. Dakota Fanning as Volturi member Jane, Bryce Dallas Howard as bad vampire Victoria. And joining her coven of young bloodthirsty vampires is Riley, played by Xavier Samuel.
So how are you? What have you learned so far about werewolves, vampires, and Volturi?
I think what I've learned about just being a part of the process is that I am so impressed with this group of people who are so fiercely committed to bringing these stories to life, and I just, yeah, that I'm really amazed by the process.
There's so many wonderful characters and groups in this film, like the Volturi, who are kind of the law of the land and the police of the vampire world, and then the wolf pack, you know, who kind of have their own, you know, amazing characters. And then you've got the Cullen clan, who are kind of these vegetarian vampires, and then Riley and the newborn vampires kind of come into play, and they're sort of just bloodthirsty and you know, lusting for revenge. So it's just, there's so many juicy kind of characters and things that kind of get revealed in the film that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this film takes a lot of the romance of Twilight and the action of New Moon and kind of puts that into one, and also it's kind of dark. It's a lot darker than the first two, and I think that, you know, all the relationships of everyone are kind of intensified in this film, and I think that the fans will really like that.
What would you attribute the huge appeal of the Twilight saga?
I think the intensity of emotion that's present in the books. I mean, you truly feel like you are falling in love in a very, very real way.
I love how high the stakes are, you know, everything's got a really epic quality, and you know, Bella's in love with a vampire, but she's also in love with the wolf, you know. It's like everything's like so extreme, and it really is about life and death and eternal love. So I think the kind of epic nature of those themes is really captivating and exciting. Yeah.
Dakota, do you think that the fact that werewolves and vampires are glamorized in the story helped a lot in making this saga so appealing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely does. I think that you know, in this film, the vampires are kind of, just the look of them is kind of like seductive in a way, and you look at them and they're all so beautiful, and I think that definitely appeals to especially young girls and even like the moms that are fans of this too, because it brings them back to their youth of like that gorgeous guy that you are in love with, you know, and I think that that appeals to the fans.
I grew up being taught that nothing comes without hard work, and I think that's definitely the case with Jacob as well.
I can't let Bella go yet, do you know what I mean? Because the story's not been told.
Edward's kind of more normal, and he becomes more human, and I guess that's the same as what's happening in my reality.
Nitong nagdaang linggo, nagmistulang tent city na ang paligid ng Nokia Theater sa Los Angeles, California, USA. Ang mga campers na ito nakaabang sa Thursday night red carpet premiere ng Eclipse, ang third installment sa The Twilight Saga, ang 4-book series turned movie ng author na si Stephanie Meyer. Sa libong fans na naroon, 500 plus lang daw ang may access sa premiere. Ang iba, naghihintay na madaanan man lang ng cast nitong sina Robert Pattinson, Kristen Stewart, Taylor Lautner, Dakota Fanning at iba pa. Pero bago pa ang pangyayaring ito, ang nasabing cast muling humarap. Exclusive kay Ricky Lo.
So Rob, after Twilight, New Moon, and now Eclipse, doesn't the Edward Cullen character feel like a second skin to you?
Sometimes, but I mean, most of the time, because we always have a new crew and there's a new director, you get there and also Edward kind of slightly looks different in each one, and everyone has a different idea. Kind of, to me, it feels like I'm doing a new movie, a completely new movie every single time. So, and I hope it stays like that too. It's much more satisfying.
Yeah, it is. It's really easy to slip back into playing that part, which is, I mean, it's it's lucky because we played different parts in between, and I had never had any experience doing a sequel or doing anything for such a long period of time, and luckily it's been really easy. Like, we always are really excited to get back to it.
Yeah, after you've lived this character for over 2 years now, I'd definitely say it feels a little bit like second skin.
You've practically grown up with the character. Isn't it hard to shake off the character once you get home from a shoot?
No, I mean, we definitely have our Twilight mode where when we're on set and we're with each other, we can click into it like that, but just as easily we can click out of it.
I can't let Bella go yet, do you know what I mean? Because the story's not been told. Like, so at the end of a whole movie, there is definitely always a period of time that you do have to shake your character. But because I can't shake her, it's something that I think about a lot. So I haven't done that yet with her.
What do you find most exciting and most scary aspect of the character?
Most exciting, most scary.
Is it bothersome to be performing with the contact lens on?
Yeah, it's for one thing, you can't normally when you're in a scene with someone and you're just watching them, your eyes just naturally react, and if you put those contact lenses in, you completely eliminate your eyes, and so that makes it a little bit more complicated.
Isn't it hard to shake off the character after a shoot once you get home?
No, I mean, it's such a relief to take the contact lenses out and stuff. You're just like, oh, okay, done. I'm no longer a vampire. But yeah, it's not too hard. I guess the scariest and most exciting, I've always liked the fact that Edward has this rage inside. Just his being is just filled with rage. Just because he's a vampire, is just, as always, the desire to kill is above everything else, and he always has to just tame that the entire time, which always makes it an interesting character to play.
I suppose you've known Bella Swan so well now, after 3 years. Which of the traits of Bella Swan do you identify with?
I really appreciate that she remains herself and is young and you know, kind of screws up a lot and learns from it in a really real way. Like I think however you deal with the problems that you have is sort of like what defines you, and Bella really has a lot of problems, and I think she deals with them very well.
First, I was always attracted to the character because I always like outsiders and loners and, you know, people who feel like they don't relate to anyone else. But I guess as I've been getting older, I've found it easier to relate to other people. And I think the series reflects that as well. I think in this one, Edward's kind of more normal, and he becomes more human. And I guess that's the same as what's happening in my reality.
Are there any traits of Jacob Black so far that you've identified with?
I think probably most of all his persistence. He's very persistent towards Bella. He's not going to give up. And I think I have a little bit of that. I grew up being taught that nothing comes without hard work, and I think that's definitely the case with Jacob as well.
It was reported that from New Moon, the cast went straight to filming Eclipse, but Rob, Kirsten, and Taylor managed to sign up for other roles. Kirsten played rock icon Joan Jett in the movie The Runaways.
It's a relief for you that you're doing other films in between.
I wouldn't call it a relief. It's cool. I mean, it's fun, but it would be fine if I didn't have those movies. It's just that, I mean, I'm really lucky to have gotten to do them because I really loved them.
A new story from a new director, Robert, Kirsten, and Taylor tell all to Rikilo when Star Talk TX returns.